NY, all up in my eyes. You got a Prada, bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend, let's spin. Everybody looking at me, glancing a kid. Wish your name was dancing a jig. Keep with these hands a kid. Sick a cigar, right from you if you are. Just bite it. Just for the look, I don't like it. Stay on play. Keep it up, you make it feel like a foreplay. Yo, my cardio is synthetic. Big Willie style, all in it. Getting jiggy with it.
Getting jiggy with it. Hey.
Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it.
Hey, check it out, guys. Hey, welcome to Real G Talk. We're Real G's talk about motivation, elevation, coming from humble beginnings and abundance, never ending. Let's get it. So we're going to jump right into this today, guys. I want you all to understand and realize what today's special edition is really all about. I'm quite sure if you guys have not witnessed or you didn't see firsthand what took place last night, Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. Right? Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. And what I want to do is I came about this so late because I was so busy at work and I was trying to get, so I wanted some special guests on to give their opinions about what's going on. So as you guys are coming in, or you're coming in on Facebook, if you're coming in on Instagram, if you're coming in on YouTube, right? If you're coming in on any of those platforms, if you're tuning in on any of those platforms, guys, I want you to just weigh in the comments. I can see you guys' comments. Weigh in the comments. What's your opinion about what took place? What's your opinion about what took place? So I'm gonna give some people some time to try to just to come on in and tune in and let this audience build a little bit. But I'm going to talk to you today about this perception in society. As we talk about what took place yesterday, let's talk about this perception in society that whether you believe that Will was wrong, whether you believe that Will was right, whether you believe that he could have handled it differently, to weigh in, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think, and tag some people and share this out. I want to see what people's real opinions of it is. I've seen a whole lot of things, and I'm going to address some people. I don't care if they see it or if they don't. I'm going to address some people, all these people, saying some things. It's opposing view to what I believe. So I'm going to address it. I'm going to address it. And I'm going to say some things, man. And to be quite frank and honest, do I? So my first thing is, people want to know. So what do you think, Cordell? What do you think? Real G Talk? What's the real G? What's the golden nugget for the day? So the golden nugget for the day is be careful what you say and what you do to another person's family. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a comedian. I don't care if you're a friend. I don't care if you're a foe. I don't care who you are. Sometimes you need to tread lightly on what you say and what you do, what you say about a person's family, or what you do to a person's family. I want you all to understand that, because there's consequences, and there is a reaction to every action. That action that Chris Rock took, he got the reaction that he did not think he was going to get. He got a reaction from Will Smith that he did not think that he was going to get. Now let's examine why Will had the reaction that he had. One of the reasons Will had the reaction that he had is because, if you notice, and I watched it live, and I really couldn't believe my eyes. And at first glance, when the smack took place, I'm sitting there, and I normally don't watch the Oscars. I can care less about those Oscars. What I saw was Will was laughing in the beginning until he looked over and saw the pain, the anguish, and how his wife was feeling. That triggered something in Will. He went into husband mode. defend my wife, defend her honor. He didn't. He could say, "Hey, I'm going to address this babe after he get off stage. I'm going to talk to him." But he didn't. The disrespect wasn't done in private. The disrespect was done publicly. The disrespect was done publicly. Now, here's where I'm a little ambivalent. Now, when I saw the smack, I thought that it was staged, and this was something that was staged and maybe even rehearsed or talked about beforehand. And, if you watched it live like I did, you know that when he went and sat down, that he began to verbally say things again, right? And he was saying, "Hey, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." And he said it twice. So when I'm looking and I'm reading lips, I can understand what he's saying, even though the sound is off. I'm saying, oh man, Will was serious. That was not staged, right? That wasn't staged. So I'm like, okay. So what's Chris Rock's next move, right? He went on with the show. He took the smack like a G, right? He took the smack like a G. What Will Smith did, do I consider that to be real G? A real G would do something like that? I'm going to just put it like this. I'm not in the position that Will Smith is in, financially, being famous, a person of influence of any kind, right? And not on that level. But I have done more to people for less than that, right? Because I can't put a meter on or gauge disrespect. Disrespect to me is disrespect. There's no little disrespect or big disrespect. Disrespect to me is disrespect when it comes to my family. If for those of you that follow me, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, you might have seen that I did a reel one time. And I said, hey, for all the young people out there, for all the young men out there, I have 4 granddaughters. I have a daughter, I have aunts, countless aunts. I have sisters, nieces, and nephews, and a bunch of nieces. And then my message was to the men. My message was this. My message was simply this, and I mean this with every fiber of my being. My message was this. So what if young black kids? It's okay to resort to violence if someone says something you don't like. We're going to talk about that in a second, Keith. I'm glad what you said, Keith, because we're going to address that. So let me finish my story first, and then I'm going to get to that, Keith, and we're going to talk. Please stay with me, Keith. All right. So one thing that I said was this. I said that, hey, if you're out there, you're dating a young lady, right? If you're dating a young lady, do not mistreat her. Don't put your hands on her, right? Don't verbally abuse her. Don't treat her right. Because if she has uncles, father, a grandfather, cousins, or brothers, and if they're anything like me, if you do those things to a woman in my family, then you have a better chance of eating soup with a fork and drowning a fish than you do of taking your next breath. Now, that's just me. And like I said, I've done things to guys, men, my age, higher stature, or whatever it may be, for disrespecting my wife and even disrespecting a woman that I was with prior to my wife for 7 years. I've done worse to these guys, but I'm a street dude. I come from the streets. Those are the ways that we resolve things, right? Now, what would I thought would have been more gangster for Will to do? And I'm gonna address your point, Keith. What I would have thought would have been more gangster for Will to do, right? This is real G talk, so I'm gonna keep it to you real. What I thought would have been more of a G for Will to do is to walk up to the stage, put his hand over the microphone, lean over in Chris Rock's ear and say, hey, look, boy, don't say nothing else about my wife. Keep her name out your mouth. She really didn't feel that joke, but I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor and refrain from talking about her and apologize by the time I sit down. That would have been gangster. Because if Chris Rock would have done so, then that would have showed that would have been more of an example setting, right? And that'd have been more G. Because growing up, my cousins, my little brother, and the younger guys they used to hang around, when they used to call me and they had issues, I never right away jumped to fisticuffs. I never right away jumped to the gun. No, I used to go and talk to the guys, and a lot of times it wasn't about just talking to them. I made it explicitly clear this is not going to end well. If you continue to go further, it's only going to end in some type of harm for some of us, and some of us more than others. So for me, in my mentality, I think that would have been more of a G move for Will to do, rather than slapping him. Right? Now, to answer Keith's question, what kind of example is Will Smith setting for young black kids? Is it okay to resort to violence if someone says something you don't like? Let me say this. It's never okay for someone to resort to violence just because someone says something. It's never okay for that, right? But no one knows, Keith. Here's the thing. No one knows what another person is going through, and when everybody has their tipping point. You know what the last straw broke the camel's back? You know why that one straw broke the camel's back? Because there was a million other straws on top of that before that last straw got placed upon his back. Who knows where Will Smith was mentally right before all those things happened? You got to understand, hey, their business has been public for so many years. He's a public figure. So he's been getting clowned for years and years and years and years and years. Number one, he was a soft rapper. Right? He was a soft rapper. Even though he came from Philly, he was the first one to win a Grammy, first rap artist to win a Grammy. All those things takes into place about, how he was soft and how people could say anything. Then with the entanglement situation, a lot of people were saying a lot of things about that, and it could still continue. That word entanglement it went viral. That word entanglement went viral. Now, even in that sense, I hear people saying, hey, he should have checked Augustine like that. No, you don't have. He had no allegiance to him. He's not married to Will Smith. That was something he was going to deal with his wife. And I know no one is suggesting that he should have put his hands on his wife, right? Nobody's suggesting that he should have put his hands on his wife. But he didn't, the guy didn't owe any allegiance to Will. Right? Will saw the look on his wife's face. Now I'm asking you, Keith. Will saw the look on his wife's face, right? And he was at his tipping point. And then there is a history with Chris Rock saying things about Will and Jada, right? So there's a history there. So no, do I think that he handled it the correct way? I think he handled it in the manner in which he thought he could handle it best. At that particular time, do I think he may have regretted it? Maybe so. But no one is beyond making an emotional decision when you see the hurt of a loved one. And I'm gonna be frank and honest. Like I said, I'm not Will Smith. I may have not smacked him like that on Oscars, and then again, I may have. But either way, I would have stood up for my wife. So I'm asking some of you, what do you think he should have done? If you think that you're asking it, what is Will setting an example for young black kids? Let's be honest. Let's be honest, Keith. I'm gonna be honest with you. Ain't too many young black kids looking at Will Smith. Ain't too many young black kids looking at Will Smith. Right? You might have some that's looking at him because he was just in a movie depicting King Richard and Serena and Venus Williams. But that's more of our age and our generation. I'm 50 years old. That's more of our age, our generation. Maybe some kids. Maybe my kids. Maybe not even my grandkids don't even know who he is. Right? I just was at a party. I was just at a party. My daughter's mom had a 50th sneaking in the 50th birthday party, and Big Daddy Kane was there. Right, Big Daddy Kane was there, and he performed at the party. And Nobody below our age knew who he was. Nobody that was, only people that was our age, like my grandkids didn't know, their little cousins didn't know who he was. So nobody's really checking for Will Smith like that. Let me say that. Right? Now, but the young black kids, or what they're seeing today, what they're listening to, is more of an example than Will Smith. What they're listening to today is more of an example than Will Smith, and they're talking about more than smacking a person. They're talking about degrading women. My shake is right. My shake is right. It is a no-win situation. They're talking about the music of today is talking about degrading women. They're talking about killing one another. So you're saying to me, so your question is, what example is Will Smith setting for young black kids? That wasn't setting an example for young black kids. It should have been setting an example for men of our age in our era to be able to stand up for their family no matter what the situation, to protect his wife at all costs. Because if somebody disrespects mine, I'm sorry. I've done time in the penitentiary, but for my wife, my kids, and for my daughter, my son, my granddaughters, I will go back and do what I need to do and go back and do my time easily if it comes to that for me. That's not a problem for me. Do I look at and weigh out the whole tape and look at things from a different diplomatic point of view? Yes, but sometimes nobody can control everybody. Anybody that thinks that they can control their emotions and that they can just control everything about their emotions and they're never going to make an emotional decision, I would like to see that. I would like to see that. I would like to test that theory. Like I said, everyone has their breaking point. So my sheikh said, it's a no-win situation. If he slaps him, he's wrong. If he does nothing, he's wrong. Where do you draw the line? Because there are too many layers that have to be examined in order to understand the takeaways and move forward. And moving forward, right? That's absolutely true. There's so many different variables. So you saying I really didn't answer your question? Okay. Is it okay to resort to violence if someone says something you don't like? I did answer that, Creef. I said no. It's never okay to resort to violence because someone says something you don't like. But I'm also adding a caveat to that so that you can understand that in those particular moments in time, in those seconds and those fractions of a second, when you see the pain on someone's face that you care about and that you love, then those emotions take precedence. He's not thinking about what the young black kids are going to say. He's not thinking about what you think or what I think about what he did. He's thinking about protecting his wife. He's thinking about defending the honor of his wife. And I'm trying to figure out why, as a man, you can't understand that. I'm just understanding. My opinion is my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. No, it's not okay to resort to violence because someone says something you don't like. I might have just said something that you don't like. But what I'm trying to get you to understand and realize is that who's thinking about that at that time? Tell me. Would you be thinking about that at that time? Are you even married? Would you think about that at that time? Tell me, who's thinking about those type of things at that particular time? I would like to know. Who's really thinking about those particular things? Well, I have to set an example for the young black kids. Nobody's thinking about that. The only thing he can see right now is the look on his wife's face and how hurt she was, and knowing what struggle she's been going through with her situation. But you want to point at Will Smith and say, is he setting an example for young black kids? What kind of example is he setting for young black kids? So let me ask you this. I hope you're still here with me, Keith, because I really want you to ask you this. does that one thing that Will Smith done outweigh all the other good things that he's done? I'm gonna wait for an answer. Does that one bad thing nullify everything else Will Smith has ever done to set an example, to help people in Philadelphia, in certain areas of the community, and across the world? Does that one thing nullify everything else that he's done? And if it does, if you feel as though it does nullify that, or is it tarnish? Does that tarnish his legacy? Not at all. To me, not at all. Everybody's entitled to make a mistake. Not to make one mistake, but numerous mistakes. And some may feel that it wasn't a mistake what he did. Some may feel that, hey, Chris Rock got what he deserved. Now, mind you, here's what I'm going to say about that. My sole belief is that, just like in Dave Chappelle's situation, when the LGBTQ came after Dave Chappelle about the things that he said, right? They are comedians. They are comedians. That's why I said I'm ambivalent about the situation. They are comedians. And when you're in the public eye, you're subject to those types of ridicule. You're subject to those jokes. You're sitting in the front of the room. So you are open game. He just did not like what the joke was. So again, I ask you, what do you think? I hope you're still here, because I love this type of dialogue. So what do you think? What do you think, Keith? So, hello over there in IG on IG. So here's the question. So, Abdul Hakim Salafi, he kind of like answered the question. So the question of the day is, was Will wrong for smacking Chris Rock? That's the question at hand. What do you think? Was Will Smith wrong for smacking Chris Rock? I'm gonna wait to hear some answers from you guys and see how you guys feel about that. Was Will Smith wrong for smacking Chris Rock? And one of the things my sheikh said, the smack was the lesser of two evils. The youth of today follow the gun code, right? They don't get smacked anymore. They get shot multiple times. Example, the youth. Examples for the youth. He was an example for his family. Thank you, my man, Abdullah Salafi. He was not. I'm sorry, that's my name. Hakim Salafi, Abdullah Hakim Salafi. He was not looking to be an example. He wasn't thinking of being an example for young black kids. He was an example for his family, for his son, for his daughter, to allow them to understand that, hey, if you come out your mouth wrong to me, to my in front of my dad gonna handle that. I'm hoping, Keith, that you would do the same if it was your child. I'm hoping that any man out there would do the same if it was their wife. Like I said, I've done more for less. I've done more for less, and I'm just being honest with you. This is real G talk, and I'm gonna keep it G. You need more trans moderators who understand what it takes to censor the right content, or the internet is doomed. That's coming from YouTube. Okay. Bilbo, I really don't know what that means. I'm not sure where you're going with that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Bilbo. Um, yeah, I'm really not sure where you're going with that. The question at hand today is about Will Smith and the smacking of Chris Rock. Shake, I don't know, Shake. Yeah, I'm not even touching that question. That was that comment right there, right? So once again, let's have this real conversation, and we're going to talk, and I want to really get um your honest opinion or what you think. And I think for the most part, for men that grew up like I grew up and grew up like my mentor Abdullah Salafi, like Abdullah Hakim Salafi has grown up. You know, one of the things that we're taught in one of the components of our religion is the man is the maintainer and the protector of the family, of the women. And we take that to heart. So, contrary to what a lot of people think about Islam, right? That the men are oppressive to the women and they can't do this and can't do that. I believe that myself and several other of my companions and my mentor, Abdullah Hakim Salafi, our wives have bachelor's and master's degrees. Our wives are literally our queens, and we take care of them. We take care of them. So for us, we're going to protect and maintain them at all costs, even our daughters until they get married. We're responsible for our daughters until they get married. We maintain, protect our daughters until they get married. And then even after that, I can't turn off my daddy mode. I just told my granddaughter that the other day. I can't turn off daddy mode. I can't turn off pop mode. I can't turn that mode off. I'm in that mode all the time because that's just my makeup. That's just who I am. That's just what my faith is. That's what I believe in. That's what I study. That's what I've embedded into my DNA. I'm gonna protect the women of my family at all costs. My mother included. Especially my mother. Right? So I'm gonna protect the women in my family at all costs. You teach your sons how to protect themselves. How to protect themselves. And in your absence, how to protect the family as a whole. His mother, his sister, his daughters, his wife. You teach him how to protect those family members also. So for individuals like myself, don't mean the answer to the question, quite frankly, do I think Will Smith was wrong for smacking Chris Rock? No. But here's on the flip side, conversely, do I think he could have handled it a little bit different? Absolutely. But like I said, it's a real touchy situation. It's a thin line in these situations simply because the disrespect did not happen in private. He did it publicly in front of everyone else. She looked humiliated. She looked disrespected. She looked hurt. She looked like she wanted to cry. What would you do if your wife was looking like that at you because of something someone said to her? Or said to her or about her? Tell me, what would you do? I'm sorry that Keith got off because Sheikh, I'm quite sure he didn't understand and get that message that we were trying to convey to him. Like young black kids now, they're not checking for Will Smith. They live by a whole different code. But answer that question. I want people to answer that question. What would you do? What would you do? What would you do? If someone did that or said that to your wife, or they disrespected your wife while you were sitting right there. You know? And like I said, he is a comedian. So sometimes I feel like there's a real thin line with that, and you know, a lot of times a lot of people cross the line. I've seen some things being said, even after that took place. There were some things being said by the women comedians to other people in the audience, and they really made light of it. And people that didn't win, you got to work harder. Here's this gift certificate for this and that and third, this consolation prize. It was some things being said, but for some reason, those things didn't hit home and hit as hard as him making a joke about her being her not having any hair because of her situation, because of her medical situation, which is she has alopecia. And here's the thing, it's a little personal for me with alopecia. My mother has alopecia, and so does my sister. Right? Not my mother, maybe to the extent of Jada. My sister, not so much so. I think it's hereditary. That's probably why I don't have any hair on my head. But it doesn't affect everyone fully. I don't think. Right? It's certain parts. I guess I don't know. I don't know how that really affects people. But I know that my mom does have alopecia. Right? So these things are. These things are sensitive subjects when it concerns individuals speaking on someone's family. So, like I said, weigh in. Let's talk about it. Tell me about it. Like I said, if you want to weigh in, if you want to call in, if you don't want to put in the comments, you want to call in, that's 215-800-2831. That's 215-800-2831. Real G Talk conversation, guys. We're going to let you call on in, and we're going to let you voice your opinion on live on air with everyone else. So I want you to call on in. If you choose to call in, that's 215-800-2831. So call in and have your say. But for my part, now I'm going to say that I'm not going to say that Will Smith was wrong for smacking Chris Rock. I don't care where it was. I don't care if it was on the Oscars. I don't care if it was on BET. I don't. Everybody's making this big thing because it was the Oscars and it's classy. I don't care about any of that. First of all, it was people calling for the Oscars to be boycotted anyway this year. I believe it was Jay Prince, because they banned Kanye West and a couple other people saying, hey, boycott the Oscars. And the crazy part about it, it's honestly, like I said, I never watched the Oscars. I don't even know why I was on my television, but I just came off of training. I came upstairs, I turned on the television, and it was just at this part. And I heard that they was going to be given an award for this documentary. And I seen that Questlove, who was another Philly guy, was going to be on there. I'm like, let me check out this part right here, because it's on the television. I don't know. I think it was up there. It was on that channel because Games was on that channel earlier that day, and I had been down in the basement working the majority of the day, and I just came back upstairs, and that's what I witnessed in that brief time I never watched. I literally saw it live, and I thought that it was a joke. I thought that it was staged in the beginning until I saw the face of Will Smith and what he was saying out loud. To Chris Rock. But I could read his lips because my TV, they blotted out those words, and then I actually heard the words. Via the internet, like everyone else did afterwards. So what's your take? What's your take on it, ladies and gentlemen? And if you're seeing this on a replay, if you watch it later, then feel free to drop your line in there, drop your take in there. But for me, and my part, like I said, at any cost, I'm going to protect and maintain my wife, my family, my daughters, my granddaughters, my nieces, and my sisters, and my nieces, my sisters, my little cousins, all the women in my family, like they're going to be protected. If any of them know me, then Uncle Corey is only a call away. Pop is only a call away. My daughter knows Abby is only a call away. It's not a game with me when it comes to the women in my family. So for me, that's where I'm at with mine when it comes to that. For anyone that wants to question that, that's where I'm at with mine. For the women in our family, yes, I'm right there. Now, like I said, I teach my son to protect himself, know how to protect himself and protect his family, and in my absence, to protect the same women that I would protect, without a doubt, to protect the same women in his family that I would protect. And that's how it goes. But for me, yeah, I probably would have smacked Chris Rock too. I probably would have smacked him myself. So that's where I'm at with mine. I really want you guys to weigh in and tell me where you are really at with yours. And this is like the part of the segment of the show where this is real G talk, and the G stands for today. The G stands for goofy. And I'm going to tell you what I believe to be goofy today. The goofy comments of Shannon Sharpe, the goofy comments of some of these other sports figures and all these other entertainers about why he didn't do that to August and why he didn't do this and what you would have done to Will Smith and all these things, right? Yeah, listen, Shannon Sharpe, right? I respect you. I respect you. A lot of times your opinion is just that. It's your opinion, bro. Like you run around here and you we're saying what you would have done and why he didn't do that to this. He didn't owe any allegiance. August, well, whatever his name is, that young man didn't make a vow to Will Smith. He didn't make a vow to Will Smith. And you don't know the circumstances of the inner workings of their marriage. You don't know the inner workings of the circumstances of their marriage. So was it warranted for him to beat up on, what was that going to prove? His wife already had the affair with the young man, or the entanglement, as she stated, already had the entanglement with the young man, right? All those things. But you guys are running around here. There's a lot of people running around here on the internet like he should have done that to him. He should have done that to him. No, he shouldn't. You never check him. You never check the guy. You check your woman. She has to let him in. But see, that's for you dudes that's not married. There's dudes that's never been regular with the coochie. These dudes that always have these issues, and you want to check a guy when it's not his place or her place to be beholden to any trust, to not break any trust with you. No, it's not that. It's your woman's place to hold that trust with you. It's your woman's place to not succumb to any advances of another man. You can't ever blame the man. He's doing what you would naturally do, or that you probably naturally do anyway. But you can't, don't do that. Don't do that. Check yourself, man. All you guys running around here saying what he should have done this, that to the dude. I can see what type of dudes y'all are. I can see what type of dudes y'all are. I'm gonna just say that. You don't like it, I don't care. I see what type of guys you guys are. Any man is supposed to be jealous about his wife. And if you're not, then you must be with the wrong woman. You don't want your woman, your wife, your woman, whatever it may be, in the company of another man. No man does. Right? No man wants his wife or his significant other in the company of another man. Right? No man wants that. But what I will say is that those things befall people whom open up the door for those things to befall them. Sheikh, you're absolutely right. And listen, and to your point, Sheikh, I'm gonna be honest with you. The comments that the Senate, the questions that the Senate was asking Ms. Brown Jackson, Judge Brown Jackson, the comments, the questions that they was asking him was worse than a smack. Right? They were worse than a smack. They were worse than any violence perpetrated when Will Smith perpetrated on Chris Rock. But like my sheikh said, no headlines, no viral videos. But these men, these white men, I'm just to keep it always real. These white men were asking her these outlandish questions about her background, about her background, about how whether or not she is lenient against child pornographers and people who people who commit sex acts against children. Why did they get this sentence, and why did they not get this sentence? And are you a Protestant or a Catholic, and does your religion have anything to do? Like, are you serious? Are you serious? But none of those things got highlighted. You know, none of those things got highlighted. And yes, Sheikh, and this is one of the reasons why I don't watch the Oscars, because it is so whitewashed and racist, and I don't really care about those things. I don't really care about those things. Like, you know, they placate us by giving us, you know, after a lot of noise is being made, after a lot of protests are being done, after things are being said, then they decide, let's throw the nigga something. And I'm just saying how I feel. Let's throw him something. You know? And for people to say, oh, look how far blacks have come. Look, yeah, you with no help from nobody else. We bootstrap it. And if sometimes the things happen that happen with Will Smith, then hey, let's accept that, because it's far worse things happening to us that's worse than a smack by people that's not of our color. The denigration, the blocks, the barricades that set up for us to achieve some of the things we have to achieve, the amount of hurdles that we have to jump over to get to where we need to be. They start at third base, and all they have to do is get a 90 feet to home, right? Where we start in the freaking bleachers on the 5th row up in the top. So it's easier. But all you guys running around here worrying about what whether Will Smith, he smacked another black person. Yes, he did. He smacked another black person who should have known better than to denigrate and disrespect another black woman. Flat out. Just like those white guys on the Senate, the Republicans, should not be allowed to continue to denigrate and disrespect another black woman. When are we going to start to stand up for our black women? When? Tell me when. Tell me when. So he's wrong for standing up for his family? No, he's not. He's not wrong for protecting his family. He's not wrong for protecting his family. So in my line of work, and also in my Sheikh's line of work, we seek to be agents of change. And in order to be an agent of change and to be in our communities, and for me, a lot of times I am going back to my community, and I'm seeking to be an agent of change in my community, because so many years I was the problem in my community, right? I created that strife and that tyranny that some of these young men are perpetrating now. So therefore, for me, part of me making amends or trying to correct a wrong. Can't never take it back because it's done already. Trying to correct the wrong or set a better example for the young men. I go back and I talk to them, and I talk to them real like this. I talk to them real like this. See, you can't be an agent of change if you don't speak the truth. That's flat out. You can't be an agent of change if you don't speak the truth. And let me say this. Let me say this, right? I'm not one thing. I believe that a person is considered an Ahmed. Well, Ahmed, it means idiot, or literal terms means brainless, right? If you hear one part of something, and don't hear the other part and make a decision just based off of one part that you hear. I'm not one thing. No person is made up of one single thing or one single way. Every person is ambivalent in some shape, form, or fashion. For instance, let me give an example. People talk about Democrat and Republican. There's some things that I'm conservative on, and some things I'm maybe liberal on what I believe, what my belief is, right? And my liberal self says yesterday that, hey, Will Smith had every right to walk up to that stage and possibly try to talk to Chris Rock. And then, and then my conservative side says he should have smacked the crap out of him. You don't disrespect nobody's mother. You don't disrespect nobody's baby mama. You don't disrespect nobody's wife. Just smack the crap out of him. I don't believe in certain things, but I believe in the right to bear arms. That's really conservative, right? I believe every person should have the right to bear arms. That's conservative, right? Right. My faith, I don't believe in abortions, but I truly believe that, hey, if it doesn't concern me, I don't care. If it doesn't concern me, I don't care. If that woman is raped and she becomes pregnant because of that rape and she chooses to have an abortion, even though I don't believe in it, I'm not going to tell her what she should not do, because it has no bearing on whether or not I am going to live. I may have my feelings about it, but that's my feelings. My belief does not dictate that anyone should believe how I believe. My belief just doesn't dictate that. To you be your way, and to me be my way. Right? And that's what I believe. So to each and every person out there, you can have your opinion on what happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith. I can have my opinion on what happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith. But look at, there are things that are much bigger and larger issues at foot, and you're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the whole picture. Now, I have some people that are friends of mine that may look at things a whole lot differently. I'm like, man, he got too much to lose. Why would he do that? Why would he do this? Yeah, and like I said, nobody's infallible. No one is immune to the trials and tribulations of life. Nobody's immune to making a mistake. Poor judgment. That's what it was. It was poor judgment. But he was acting off emotions and adrenaline. And sometimes you don't have that split second to think. You just want to act. You just want to move. You just want to make it right. You just want to take away the pain, the sorrow, the humiliation from a person, right? You just want to take that away. And that's why he did what he did. My mom and my grandmother, my dad, they used to have a expression about that. They used to call it smacking the cowboy shit out of someone, and that's what he did. That's what he did. And for me, like I said, the real G thing to do, right, may have been to walk up to him, put his hand over the mic, and say, "Hey, listen, man, My wife ain't like that joke. You really humiliated her. You know, she's going through those things. So I'd appreciate it if you would, you know, offer an apology right now, like right now. And if you don't offer that apology, then, you know, we need to have a conversation after this. But, you know, please refrain from any more jokes about my family, you know. And based on that, now suppose he had done that. Let's examine that. Now suppose he had done that, right? And then he went and sat down and Chris Rock continued to make more jokes. What would you have asked him to do after that? What should he have done after that? What should have been his next move after that? I'd have went up there and stomped a mud hole in him after that. If he continued with more jokes after I asked him not to do it, yeah, I'd have went up there and stomped a mud hole. And who's to say Chris Rock probably would have just been like, nah, I'm not gonna make no more jokes about that. But Chris Rock Will Smith chose to deal with it the way he chose to deal with it. And, you know, myself, you, and nobody else can change what happened. We're going to all have our opinion. Right? Yeah, that is so poignant. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is that, like I said, the G today stands for goofy, for all you goofy commentators and sports figures and all you other people, all you good kumbaya people. Sometimes y'all cooning. Y'all good kumbayas. Not kumbaya like you're cooning. Y'all cooning by y'all, right? All you people that's running around here saying what he should have done to this other man and what he shouldn't have done to this other man, but you sit back and you don't have anything to say about what's going on with Judge Jackson Brown. You could sit back and you don't have anything to say about anything else that's concerning the ills of our community and things like that. Then you know keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut, because your opinion has no merit. What you're saying really has no merit, but you want to talk because you want to speak about this because it's a hot subject. But let's start addressing some of the things. I had a whole show about gun violence in our neighborhood and what's the definition of an op, and understanding the language that these young people are using and understanding how to reach out to the young. See, this is what this is Real G Talk is about. Real G Talk is about motivation, elevation, people that come from humble beginnings and abundance never ending, and how to get to that abundant place. This is not a forum where I just get on here and I just want to blast people. But when I see people and hear people talking about situations and they just want to make light of a lot of different situations and not really add any solutions to what's going on or not giving any input, but they want to just highlight these things for the denigration and the pleasure of an audience, it gets my goat. It gets my goat. I don't do this for likes. I do this for the reason of, hey, I want people to get the information. I want people to, have these things to talk about. I want to put these things on people's radar. I want people to have thought-provoking conversations, high-level conversations, intellectual conversations about what's going on, the ills in our community and society and the world as a whole. And how we as a people, not just black people, we as a people, but we have to start with ourselves first and police ourselves, right? We as a people need to stop looking at other things on social media and stop seeing things at the surface level and dig a little deep and do a little research to find out, hey, why is this like this? Why does this person have a head start over me? Why do I have to work harder than anybody else in my class to be at the top of the class? Why do I have to push further? So let's start examining some of those things. Why are the young people in our community, why don't they have the ability to excel like young kids in Lower Merion? Why don't they have the ability to sell like young kids in Lower Merion and in different counties and in different? Why is the public school system the way it is? Why are our communities the way they are? Why are the young people in our communities killing one another? What is the root cause of it? And not just see the surface and say, oh, it's the social media, so they're fighting, they're rapping. And no, it's an underlying issue that's pushing that agenda that you're not understanding. And that's what I'm here to bring light to. Well, absolutely, Shake, and that's what I was getting to earlier. That it's a history there. It's a history there with Chris Rock, saying things about Jada and Will, and so like I said, that's what I was trying to tell the young man Keith that was on. Like, everybody has this breaking point, and people say, how can one straw break the camel's back? That's because it's a million or 2 million other straws that's on that camel's back. And we're not just talking about straws. No, it might be long straws, like bamboo straws. It might be those type of straws that's on somebody's back. You don't know how big those straws are, but that one straw, it could be a toothpick that you can place on there. That could be somebody's breaking point. And it might not seem significant to any of us, but it was significant enough that his wife felt that. And then those emotions come back again. Like Shake said, 2016, Chris Rock made a statement. Well, his joke was Will Smith, Jada talking about boycotting the Oscars. Her boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. So saying that you weren't invited, he because Will didn't get nominated for the movie Concussion. So so him starting off saying those things and then going right in once again, Will Smith, Chris Rock, like he said, he didn't press charges because he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Real G Talk. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in today. This is just a special edition, and I'll be right back at it on Thursday. I am hopefully I will have special guests this week. I think the topic this week is going to be overcoming poverty and addiction. So I have some special guests on that's going to be able to talk about, hey, what are the things that they did to overcome poverty, what methods they used to overcome their addiction, and where they are today, and how things are moving for them today, what things are they doing, and what information they can give anyone out there that may be or may have a family member that is struggling out here in these streets and that could benefit from some of the information, from some of the things that could benefit us from some of the things that's being said. So that's it for me for the night, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Real G Talk, where real G's talk about motivation, elevation, coming from humble beginnings and abundant and never ending. So I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you guys Thursday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the same channels. Peace.